The restaurant where we found ourselves that evening had always been one I admired. It had a charm that spoke volumes. An inviting atmosphere, superb cuisine, and excellent acoustics. In an age when many restaurants opt for modern, unfinished ceilings that only seem to amplify noise and disrupt the dining experience, this place stood apart. Housed in a charming old building, it had been carefully transformed into a sophisticated steakhouse, preserving its original architectural beauty. The venue was made up of 7 distinct dining rooms spread across 2 levels. Each room was tastefully furnished with well-spaced tables, offering a sense of privacy and intimacy, perfect for a romantic evening. Unfortunately, tonight was far from romantic. Seated across from me was my wife, Kathy. We occupied a table on the lower level, and I could sense her unease. She fidgeted nervously, avoiding eye contact. Despite her obvious discomfort, there was a glint of determination in her eyes. I remained mostly silent, speaking only to place our drink orders and settle into our seats. As I scanned the menu, I considered the blackberry fusion before finally deciding on the beef tenderloin tornado with Bourgogne sauce. As I sipped my single malt whiskey on the rocks, I studied Kathy. She was still a striking woman. Intelligent, accomplished, someone I once deeply admired, but my feelings for her had shifted without her knowing. A change was quietly taking root within me, and tonight, she would come to understand. My revelation would shake her to the core and possibly break apart everything we had built. My name is Ben Jones. I'm a 49-year-old software account executive, married to Kathy for 28 years. But the woman sitting across from me now felt like a stranger. "Yes, Kathy," I said, letting out a quiet sigh as I braced myself to broach the subject. "Well, that would be a nice change," she replied with a sharp edge, her irritation evident. "You've always been so charming, Ben. Thank you for that." "I wasn't being sarcastic this time," I answered, letting the words hang between us. I held her gaze for a moment before taking another sip of my drink. She quickly looked away as the waiter approached. I handed in my menu and placed my order for the blackberry eat with Spanish rice. Kathy, clearly flustered by my demeanor, glanced through the menu and chose a salad, a rather uninspired choice for a steakhouse. Once the waiter had left, she turned her attention back to me. "Ben, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately, about us, about you, about me, and, well, I want to share my thoughts." As I played with the condensation on my glass, I spoke up. "There's a difference between being late and being too late." "What do you mean?" she asked, her expression puzzled. "A day late and $1 short," I replied, taking another slow sip. "Go on, Kathy. Say what's on your mind." "I'm listening." She hesitated for a moment. Then, after gathering her thoughts, she said, "I think we should consider a period of separation. Not permanent, just some time apart, for me to figure things out. For both of us, really?" I exhaled calmly. "No." Kathy's head jerked up, a lock of blonde hair falling across her face. "What do you mean, no? A separation could be good for us?" she pressed, her smile almost gentle. "It might help me rediscover my love for you." Her tone wasn't one of affection or triumph, but rather the kind of patience someone might show a child trying to prolong their playtime before bed. "I don't want you to rekindle anything with me, Kathy," I said firmly. "I can't tolerate any more justifications for your behavior. Let's be blunt. You want a separation so you can see someone else." Her eyes widened in disbelief. "What are you talking about? I'm not trying to replace you. I'm not looking for another partner. Our marriage has lost its spark, and I think some time apart might help us revive it. Bring us back to who we used to be." "Yes, Kathy, our marriage lacks excitement." I agreed, my tone calm but resolute. "In fact, it's become stagnant. I've been trying for the past 2 years to change things, but it's been a one-sided effort. Now, instead of a partnership, there are 3 people in this marriage, each with their own interests at odds with the others." I raised my hand, anticipating the objection that was surely coming. "You've replaced me, Kathy. You've betrayed my trust, and now you're asking me to accept a situation where you can further explore that relationship. You want us to separate, but you don't mind being with Roger." Don't expect me to accept that while you try to fix things between us. I won't tolerate it. Kathy's face twisted in anger as she gripped the napkin tightly, her eyes narrowing. You're wrong, she hissed. I haven't been unfaithful with Roger. He's not a replacement for you. I remained calm. What do you mean? Even if you haven't been physically involved with him, emotionally, you've already replaced me. You've let him into every significant part of your life. Kathy looked uneasy. Please, Ben, lower your voice. There's no need to air our private problems here. Why not, Kathy? You've already discussed them openly. Who else knows about the separation besides me? Stop. If you love your parents, then like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like the video or subscribe to the channel, it means you don't love them. If you don't love them, then write hate in the comments. Continue, I asked pointedly. She squirmed uncomfortably, her gaze flickering away. Well, I might have talked to Roger a couple of times. I raised an eyebrow. So confiding in Roger about our marriage before talking to me isn't deceitful? You're deciding the future of our relationship with his input and not telling me about it. That's betrayal, Kathy. Roger seems to have more say in my marriage than I do. Kathy said nothing, her face flushed, her eyes avoiding mine. The waitress, sensing the tension, placed our plates on the table before quickly retreating. I gave her a polite wink, which only fueled Kathy's anger. Ben, you're exaggerating, Kathy muttered quietly. Roger is just a friend. He listens. He understands me without judgment. He's been really helpful. I set my drink down with firmness. Let me make this clear, Kathy. You've crossed a line. Your actions have disrespected our marriage, insulted my intelligence, and put our future in jeopardy. Roger may seem charming, but he's playing games, and that needs to stop. Kathy gasped in disbelief, but I ignored her, turning my attention to the waiter who approached to check on our meals. Everything's excellent, thank you, I said with approval. Kathy snapped back, her voice defensive. I am not a cheater, and you're wrong about Roger. I haven't betrayed you. Ignoring her protest, I replied, the way you've been acting, confiding in Roger, seeking his counsel, withholding things from me, it's like you're on the edge of crossing a line, and it disgusts me. Kathy seemed taken aback by my words, but I held her gaze firmly. I savored the taste of my fillet, the only enjoyable part of the evening, before pushing the plate away. I took a sip of water and met her apologetic gaze. Ben, she spoke softly, I never meant to hurt you. Truly, I didn't. I slammed my glass down on the table, the sound sharp in the quiet space. Don't lie, Kathy. You knew it would hurt me, that's why you kept it hidden. Don't say you didn't mean to cause pain when you never tried to protect me from this. I left $200 on the table and stood up, taking a last sip of my scotch. Glancing at her one final time, I said, there's no going back, Kathy. I've already started the divorce proceedings. Despite Kathy's protests, including pleas for counseling and unreasonable demands, our divorce went through. She initially refused to sign the papers and insisted on discussing our marriage, but I remained firm. I made it clear that I would only speak with her after the divorce was settled. For the sake of our children and grandchildren, I needed a clean break. Eventually, the divorce was finalized with assets divided equally. I moved on. Kathy later sent me a confrontational letter, questioning why I gave up on our marriage without a fight. In response, I simply forwarded her a photo, a picture she had sent me just 3 days after our dinner. A photo of her with Roger, whom she had started seeing a week after our dinner. After that, I heard nothing more from her. These days, I don't date much. I find comfort in solitude or in spending time with my children, grandchildren, and close friends. Companionship from time to time is enough. At first, my children sided with Kathy, not fully understanding her actions. But I calmly explained to them, if their spouse fell out of love and started a relationship with someone else, would they just accept it and allow the separation to continue guilt-free? Eventually, they understood. Our relationship improved, though their connection with Kathy weakened. She remarried quickly, only to divorce soon after. Her relationship with Roger, supposedly only involving one encounter, never led to anything long-term. I chose not to inquire further. I retired early and moved to the countryside, finding happiness in a simple life. I no longer wasted energy on someone who didn't deserve or reciprocate my love. Though I missed the woman I once married and the life we had planned, I celebrated my newfound freedom from an unfulfilling marriage with someone I no longer recognized or respected. Despite the many good years we shared, Kathy had emotionally ended things long before the divorce was finalized. Dear listeners, I said with finality, please leave your feedback in the comment section and remember to like, share, and subscribe.